Thanks, Goose. Hex, can you hear that sound?
Why, Barger, that's the music of cyberpunk.
You know what that means? It's time to infiltrate a corrupt organisation in a gritty, fluorescent world in Satellite Rain.
Cybernetics pioneer Dracogenics is making headlines with what they're calling instant consciousness transferal technology, but many are already referring to it as resurrection.
Investors are scrambling for a piece of Dracogenics. The list of wealthy donors has increased, with celebrities and politicians from around the world jumping on board. The Restec satellite network has expanded globally, making Dracogenics a household name overnight.
Flooding today as rivals.
Satellite Rain is a real-time class-based strategy game brought to us by Brisbane developer 5 Live Studios. And if you ever played the classic Syndicate series, then you probably fell in love with it. So you're probably like this for the same reasons.
It's very possible. Satellite Rain is a spiritual successor to the Syndicate series.
We did a Kickstarter to raise funds to go into production on Satellite Rain game.
And one of the creators of Syndicate Wars is a part of the 5-man Brisbane team behind it. And boy, does it show.
Yes, this is oozing with Syndicate nostalgia. The basic premise is you take control of 4 agents in a cyberpunk city. This is a world where the rich get richer, the middle class turn a blind eye, and the poor suffer.
Dracogenics have nobly provided their own private security force to assist in subduing the last stubborn holdouts of the city's poor and desperate.
This city is dark and depressing, and the homeless wander the streets. There's a strong militant police presence, and this instantly makes you feel oppressed. Heavily fortified factories litter the city, and they're just begging to be infiltrated. Your small squad is part of a rebel uprising, aiming to disrupt and attack the oppressive organizations that have a hold on this city. And there are many ways you can do this.
Your squad consists of 4 classes, each with their own unique abilities, and there's loads of choices you can make as you level up and progress. Where you put your ability points really matters for how you want to play these classes. If you want to focus on stealth, hacking, and espionage, then you'll want to level them up. But if you're all about brute force, then you're not going to get far without plenty of health and offensive abilities.
You'll also need to purchase gear, and cash doesn't come easy, at least initially. Besides completing missions, you'll need to hack and siphon money from ATMs located around the map.
And there may be many more ways to make money that we haven't discovered, because I get the sense this is quite a long game, Barjo.
Yeah, it goes pretty deep. And I love that you always have to strike this balance between keeping enough cash on hand to bribe civilians and purchase gear, but to also be funneling money into researching prototypes that you found during missions.
And they've done a great job with the drip feed of abilities and gear. It just pulls you back in again and again. A new weapon to try, some new strategies to try.
Yeah, there's always something to level up or fiddle with. And you're right, the more I played of this game, the harder it was to log out.
Yeah, and I like that when you get a piece of prototype gear, you have the option of equipping it or sending it off for research. But if you equip it and die, then you lose it for good.
There's some fantastic infiltration mechanics at play too. Scanning the environment shows how security systems are linked and powered. Cameras can be disabled remotely if you have the skill and can get there alive, but you can also just shoot them too if you're willing to deal with the inquisitive guards that turn up to investigate. On top of that, there's plenty of doors to hack. But if you have the cash, you can sometimes find someone to bribe to get door codes or learn about alternate entrances. On top of that, there's escape opportunities like zip lines, robot drones to deal with, and a variety of increasingly difficult guards to avoid or just take out.
All of your actions within these bases are determined by your stamina bar. Sprinting drains it quickly, as does using abilities, so you're always watching and checking that you can make it past a camera without getting spotted. It's always intense when you miscalculate and then you have to limp away to avoid a fight you can't win or just don't want to be involved in.
I love it when you get spotted and you have to take out all the guards or the cameras quickly before the alarms go off. There's a nice balance in how the difficulty of these fights escalates quickly.
Yeah, and they won't always go smoothly. You can bring back fallen teammates or respawn them. There's an interesting system which costs you cash or XP depending on how quickly you want to bring them back. Barjo, I enjoyed these fights, but they're not without their fiddly moments.
Yeah, that's true. For the most part, it is pretty clear where everyone's going to go and how they're going to move, but there are occasions where a teammate becomes a little unresponsive, or just won't go where you want them to, and you'll have to shuffle them about in the heat of battle. I like how scrappy these fights feel, but they can be a bit frustrating.
Yeah, at times even just moving around this world in a 4-person squad can feel a bit messy. Some patches have rolled out already to improve navigation, but the pathfinding still has a few issues. Once you learn the quirks of the point-and-click system, those occasional glitches do become less painful.
Yeah, my main issue was with those elevators where sometimes characters would disappear under the map and I'd have to fast travel them out of there. There's also a cloning mechanic where you can hijack someone's brain, recruit them for extra firepower, or bank them for cloning and apply their stats to agents. It's another little interesting mechanic that this game is just full of, but I was a little confused about how it actually worked.
Yeah, I mean, most of the menus are really intuitive, but cloning was a little confusing. I just loved the presentation of the game though. Just the way the camera's always slightly swaying left and right, kind of like it's a drone hovering, but it's also great that you can turn that effect off. There's some stylish yet subtle visual touches too.
Yeah, it's a great looking game, isn't it? I think the most fun I had with this was when I was going full sneak. We're just 4 cyberpunk trenchcoat cool dudes hanging out near your control panels, nothing to see here. And then I'm in. Disabling security systems and sneaking about big busy bases. Using cloak to complete an objective and then just legging it. Or just silently taking out lonely guards until no one is left.
Overall, if you can ignore a few minor issues, then this is an impressive game that's just loaded with depth and dripping with syndicate love. Oh, the futuristic cars, Barjo.
So cool.
I'm giving it 3 stars.
I'm giving it 3.5 stars.
Unauthorized access detected.